maitanong namin para lang sa kaalaman ng ating audience, ano po ba talaga yung meaning ng parental authority, attorney? Hindi ba automatic, attorney, na kapagka magulang ka, yun na yun? Talagang parental authority na, attorney Ann?
Okay. So, ang parental authority, basically, it's the duties and rights of the parents to care for their child. Also, meron silang obligasyon to raise them well. And in the absence thereof, yung lawful guardian. So, according dun sa ating family code, sa ating civil code, ang nakalagay doon ay by default, yung sa married couple, sa married partner, it is exercised by both parents. So, nagkakaroon lang ng instances kung bakit napupunta sa ibang tao according to the hierarchy dun provided by the law, if in case these persons, yung parents, are not able to take care of their child or in case they're absent, yun. So, by default, yung parents muna. Yun yung parental authority.
Iyon, so duty pala siya, attorney, ano, na
Opo.
para sa mga parent, sa pangangalaga sa kanilang anak. So ito, attorney, napansin ko lang kasi, move forward tayo sa sunod na tanong. 'Pag, halimbawa hindi kasal or halimbawa kasal tapos nagkaroon ng problema, yung something na about sa custody ng bata, palaging kay nanay napupunta yung custody ng bata, attorney. Parang iisipin ng iba, lugi naman si lalaki. May mga gano'n, eh. Pero dito, attorney, maitanong ko lang, bakit 'pag gano'n yung mga sitwasyon, bakit kay nanay palagi napupunta yung custody ng bata? Ba't hindi kay tatay? Ba't hindi kay daddy? Ba't gano'n, attorney, yung ano, yung decision? Attorney Ann.
Opo. Meron po kasi tayong tinatawag sa family code na tender years doctrine. Ang presumption nun, yung mga 7 years old na bata, they should not be separated from their mother unless there are compelling reasons to do so. So, by default, ina-assume ng batas na ang best interest of the child would be to stay with their mother if they are less than 7 years old unless mapatunayan sa court na ang nanay ay pabaya, neglectful, habitual drunkenness, or in cases na grave immorality. So, kailangan mo nang patunayan na unfit yung mother to take care of the child of tender years before the presumption can be turned over. So, basically, ito yung mga kailangan mong i-overturn para malipat sa'yo yung custody ng bata if you are the father because the law presumes na mas okay yung presence ng magulang in rearing the child,
Opo.
ng mother.
Opo. Sabi dito, attorney, nung iba, pagka sa mga ganyan daw na sitwasyon, iba daw kasi yung pagmamahal ng nanay tapos sa tatay. Totoo ba yan, attorney?
Well, subjective naman yan. So, hindi naman, as a general rule, yeah, sa tingin ko in my personal opinion. Pero, hindi eh. Kasi, you're both parents and you both have the right to care for, educate, and discipline your children. Just at the same time, parehas kayong obligated to provide moral, financial, and physical support. So at the same time, ganun din yung love nyo for the child. So I'm not leaning towards bias with regard to that.
Opo. Tsaka opo, naisip ko nga rin minsan, attorney, kung halimbawa kilalaki napunta yung infant na bata, parang paano niya yun ibe-breastfeed? Mga gano'n. Kaya siguro kay nanay talaga mapupunta yung custody, parang gano'n. Pero ito, attorney, what if halimbawa 7 years old yung bata, sabi niya, ay gusto ko kay tatay, ayaw ko kay nanay. Pwede na ba siyang mamili,
Okay.
attorney?
Ito naman ay exception na siya. Kasi ang law lang naman nagpe-presume dun sa tender years doctrine if the child is below 7 years old. So, mas malaki yung kailangan mong i-overturn na presumption. Now, when the kid is 7 years old, when the child is 7 years old, wala nang ganong presumption. So, below 7 years old, mas mataas yung presumption na dapat sa nanay. Pero pag over 7 years old, pantay na sila. So, that being the case, parehas lang yung evidentiary weight na ipe-present nung mga parents para sa custody ng child. And then eventually, the court will decide based on the best interest. Pero hindi na leaning towards the mother pag 7 years old. And of course, syempre, dahil yung bata expressed her or his interest, then may possibility na mas panigan ng court yung gusto ng bata.
Opo. Ito pa attorney, kasi uso ngayon yung tinatawag na gentle parenting. Pag halimbawa attorney,
Mhm.
kinurot ko yung anak ko, kasi bastos,
Mhm.
kinurot ko. Child abuse na ba yun attorney?
Well, basically, not all kind of acts that may cause physical harm in case yung pangungurot, it constitutes child abuse. Kasi tandaan natin, ang parental authority includes the right and the responsibility of the parent to discipline their child. Kasi sa batas natin, pag nagkaroon ng criminal liability itong mga batang ito, at the end of the day, yung parents din naman ang magiging liable. So they also have the right to discipline their children. Ngayon, the Supreme Court has reiterated na itong mga measures na to, it doesn't necessarily count as abuse unless may clear intent to harm a child's dignity. So yun yung basis. Ngayon, sinabi naman ng Supreme Court na itong measures na to discipline the child must never be violent, excessive, or disproportionate. So baka naman sinapok-sapok mo yung bata, ano lang naman, kamali lang naman ng pagsasalita. So it must be proportionate to the act committed, hindi grave, hindi excessive.
Opo, iyon. Very well said, attorney. Paano naman pag ganito, attorney? Halimbawa, nasa wastong gulang na yung aking anak, na 16 years old, araw gayan. Ayaw mag-aral. Gusto niya mag-TikTok lang. Pwede ba daw, attorney, i-confiscate yung phone ng anak? O hindi? Kasi invasion of privacy yun, attorney Ann.
Well, not necessarily kasi ang daling sabihin ng invasion of privacy, but let's not remember, dapat ang first rule is that there should be an expectation of privacy. Sa US nga, kinikilala yung right ng parent to consent on behalf of their children with regard to privacy laws. So ayun, if the persons are not able to consent to the data privacy, then most necessarily hindi sila allowed to enter into contract. So for example, ang anak mo ay 17 years old and nagti-TikTok siya and you want to make sure that yung mga privacy laws niya ay protected, then you can most necessarily, with regard to the child, access yung phone. Syempre, while there is no law prohibiting it, we must also remember na it affects yung yung relationship with the child. So walang law na nagpa-prohibit, but we must exercise it with caution. Kasi, the relationship with the child may be affected.
Opo, iyon. So ito pa, attorney, kung halimbawa yung anak ko naman ay sinumbong niya ako sa DSWD kasi sabi nung anak ko toxic daw ako. Mga ganon. Pwede ba nilang kunin yung anak ko, attorney Ann?
Okay. With regard to that, kasi may gravity din naman yung law na nire-require in order for them to gain custody of your child. Kasi alam naman natin in the Philippines, the reality is the DSWD, yung mga facilities is not enough to cover yung mga pangangailangan natin talaga. So, the only time when the DSWD will take custody of your child is if it is proven in court na the child is dependent, but they are not allowed or they are not getting this kind of support from their parents. And at the same time, they have been abandoned or neglected. So usually it involves abuse, trafficking, or abandonment. And lalo na pag may immediate danger to the custody of the child, yun talaga yung kailangan nilang patunayan and imminent danger. Kasi if the court finds a parent unfit, then kukunin talaga yung custody of the child.
Opo, yun. Ito attorney, maisingit ko lang kasi naisip ko bigla, attorney. What if si nanay, sa pag-aaral ito ng anak, attorney, what if si nanay gusto niyang paaralin si anak niya sa public school? Pero si tatay ayaw niya, gusto niya sa private school si anak. Sino ang masusunod doon, attorney?
Okay. I think this is very much primitive na batas, but it is the law anyway. But in the family code, sa parents na married, pag hindi nagkakasundo ang mother at father, ang right ay napupunta sa father. So mas may mataas na presumption na mas tama yung decision ng father. So, leaning towards the father. Pero pag hindi kasal, syempre na yung bata ay nasa nanay, then ang presumption naman is yung nanay. So, it depends kung kasal silang dalawa.
Okay po. Ayun, siguro attorney ano 'to, kumbaga nadadala na lang 'to ng ano, ng mga pag-uusap siguro ng
Oo. Oo, kasi ang hirap
mag-asawa.
naman
Opo.
i-impose na.
Pero ito pa attorney, siguro, isa na lang pong ano, katanungan kung 'yan, bago ko ilipat sa aking partner. Okay. Siguro ito attorney, isa pang ano, sitwasyon kung halimbawa, si ano, sabi nung ano, nung lola nung anak, sabi niya dun sa nanay, sa amin na lang itong ano, sa amin na lang itong anak mo kasi kami mayaman, may pera, may trabaho, unlike you na wala kang trabaho, hindi mo siya mapo-provide yung pangangailangan niya. Sa amin na lang ang anak mo. Puwede ba yun, attorney?
Well, not necessarily kasi ang presumption nga ng special parental authority, it is given to both parents equally. Ngayon, the only time na mapupunta sa ibang tao is both parents are dead or they are unfit. So, for example, namatay yung nanay, edi sa tatay, pero namatay din yung tatay, then that's the only time it will go to the substitute parental authority would be perhaps the grandparents. Ngayon, ang issue dyan kasi is if the parents are living, then ang presumption ng law is the child would rather be with the parent and it's the child's best interest to go with the parents. Ngayon, ang issue is if the grandparents would like to take custody of the child, then most necessarily kailangan niyang patunayan na unfit yung parents. And ganun ulit, doon papasok yung immorality, drunkenness, yung threat to the safety of the child. So medyo mas kailangan, mas grabe yung evidence required in order to relinquish the parental authority of the parents.
Opo. So siguro attorney mga ilang katanungan pa bago ko ilipat kay Bombo Kim. Sige, ito attorney, kasi ito naman yung senaryo. Paano attorney kung halimbawa mag-asawa po, nanay, tatay, si nanay namatay, si tatay nag-asawa ng bago. Tapos sabi nung lola niya, "Ay dito na sa akin yung anak mo, ayokong lumaki yan diyan sa hindi niya nanay. Dito siya sa akin dapat." Puwede bang gawin yun attorney ng grandparent?
Well, as a general rule, ang re-remain ng parental custody or parental authority when the other parent survives is yung surviving parent, which is in this case, is the father. Ngayon, wala kasi dun sa exceptions or wala dun sa enumerations ng law na pag namatay yung nanay and nag-asawa ulit, mawawala na siya ng parental authority. Ngayon, ang kailangan patunayan ng grandparent is if the presence of the stepmother imposes imminent threat or danger pag sinasaktan yung bata or if it is harmful like immoral, basta detrimental to the safety and to the well-being of the child, then if the parents are not able to rear their child with the kind of support they would be needing, then that's the time that the grandparents can take over parental authority and custody. Otherwise, tatay pa din.
Opo, yun. Very well said, attorney. Siguro, attorney, ito naman, ibigay ko naman ang pagkakataong makapagtanong kay Bombo Kim sa iyo, attorney. Sige, Bombo Kim.
Ayan po, good morning
Thank you.
attorney. Ito po ulit si Bombo Kim Ramos and welcome po ulit dito sa ating programang Good Morning Philippines. Siguro may few questions lang ako, attorney, and ibalik ko po ulit kay Bombo Kier itong mga pagtatanong. Ang una ko pong tanong, attorney, siguro, as per observation sa context niyo po as abogado, gaano po ka-relevant o karami yung mga nahahandle ninyong kaso na ang kumbaga usapin o with regard po sa mismong parental authority ang pinag-uusapan?
Very relevant ito ngayon kasi I have been handling a lot of VAUSI cases. Ngayon, meron ding annulment cases kasi there are several times na ang custody ay, syempre ang presumption ng law is nasa nanay. When it comes to annulment, sasabihin ng tatay, ako naman yung sole provider, walang trabaho yung nanay. So, kailangan ding patunayan yun in court. So, pag mag-file kayo ng action or annulment, kailangan yung isama yung custody issue kasi pag na-annul na yung marriage, then magkakaroon kayo ng visitation and shared custody. So you have to establish kung sinong mas fit na parent because otherwise, if the child is less than 7 years, regardless kung walang trabaho yung nanay, sa kanya mapupunta. So if you personally think that there are reasons to believe that the mother is unfit, then kailangan i-establish yun in cases of VAUSI or annulment, support, and custody. So sa VAUSI kasi medyo complicated kasi it involves criminal cases. So in order to facilitate, you also have to file a separate action for custody and support as well as filing the VAUSI.
Ayun ma'am, siguro maisingit ko na tanong kasi sa mga ganitong usapin ma'am, although kasi may sinasabi ang batas about sa kustodiya, pinagdedesisyonan ng mga korte ang kustodiya, hindi po maiiwasan na itong mga ganitong usapin, too much po sa isang bata na paslit pa lang, hindi pa masyadong naintindihan ganito. Kumbaga ang tunguhin lang mapasama kung either or both parents na hindi sila mahiwalay. Siguro pwede itong makaapekto sa mental nila health o sa mismong baka mag-cause sa kanilang trauma. Sa mga ganito ma'am na cases na highly technical and medyo komplikado pa para sa mga bata, paano po ini-ensure o siguro ina-assist ng mga otoridad natin na itong bata ay masiguro na although mapunta manalo sa isang kustodiya magiging okay po siya mentally at hindi mababawasan yung trauma niya na isa po sila sa nagiging apektado ng mga ganitong usapin.
Okay. So first and foremost, pag may court case, the presence of the child is not required. Kung tutuusin, bawal nga ang bata sa court kasi because of these effects sa mental health nila. So unless absolutely necessary, then that's the only time the child will be called into court. Ngayon, pag tinawag ang bata sa court, merong a right ang court to exclude other people. So, pwede niyang i-examine yung child na parents lang yun nandun, court employees lang, syempre si judge nandun, pero pwedeng palabasin yung ibang tao. So, isa yun sa mga batas na pinoprotektahan yung bata. And at the same time, meron ding involvement ng social workers during this process. Kasi let us remember na ang custody ng bata, ang main and paramount consideration is yung best interest of the child. So, you're considering the best interest of the child, pero in the process, you're mentally affecting their health, their wellness. Di parang siya, di ba? Rhetorical. So, we have to ensure na we have to make ways para hindi ma-trauma yung bata within the process. Yan.
Yun, so talagang ang ating authorities and laws talaga, they have their ways talaga to protect then the innocence and siguro yung well-being ng bata sa mga ganitong usapin. Pero matanong ko lang siguro ma'am, siguro medyo lihis itong question ko. Medyo situational to. Kasi sa pag-select ng parent, may automatic na mapupuntahan. Example, dapat sa nanay, dapat sa tatay, or yung nearest kin. How about ma'am, if for example, sa ganitong away or hidwaan o sabihin nating absence of any parent, equally sa maternal and paternal side ng bata, may available parents na available na pwedeng kumuha nitong parental authority. Paano po ba yung nagiging proseso ng selection nito?
Kasi as a general rule, pantay lang sila either mother or father side kung unavailable yung both parents. May mga next of kin, wala rin yung next of kin, brothers and sisters. Ngayon, ang question mo is whether sa mother side or sa father side. Again, best interest of the child. So, if the child is less than 7 years old, kailangan patunayan ng grandparents na to who would be eligible. Sino ba yung nagpapalaki sa bata? Sino yung mas madalas kasama ng bata? Saan mas komportable yung bata? And at the same time, let's consider na they have to provide physical, moral, and emotional and financial support. So those are the categories that must be met. So kung alin yung grandparents na nag-meet na tong categories na to, then the court would be biased and would be leaning towards giving the parental authority doon sa grandparent na yun.
I believe the court will also assess ma'am kung sinong may capability sa lahat na to bago ipasa kung kaninong custody.
Yes.
Siguro ma'am, last question ko na lang po bago ibalik kay Bombokier itong mga natitira pang pagtatanong. Ito ma'am, even though sabihin natin ang simplest answer is kaya may batas at kasali ito sa family code and recognized by the Constitution, ang role ng pamilya, bakit po o gaano kahalaga itong pagresolba at usapin ng parental authority o familial affairs na basically itong mga ito ay can be resolved naman talaga personally o within the kin by kin lang naman talaga ng usapin mo?
Oo. As a general rule talaga, pag family issues, meron na nga kasi tayo ngayong family mediation eh. Meron silang ino-organize na pag ang issues between family or relatives, i-refer na sa mediation, hindi kaso-kaso agad. Because let us remember that the family is the basic unit and foundation of our society. So in order for this to be avoided, yung mga altercations na ganito, at most pina-provide ng law at ng court itong mga processes na to in order for them to go to mediation first. Kasi if they don't want to talk sa barangay, they still have to undergo mediation kasi nga baka ma-resolve kasi usap lang. Kasi parang pag nag-file ka na ng kaso and nag-present ka na ng evidence in court, point of no return na yun and it affects the relationship. So as much as possible, the court promotes mediation, family mediation between these parties.
Ay ma'am, siguro masingin ko na lang po pero promise last na tong question. Ma'am, ano po ba yung mga available type of services na i-offer natin for that certain mediation aside siguro sa pag-usap sa sessions, ma'am, mga ganon? Ano po, or counseling? Ano po ba yung mga alternative methods pa for mediation?
Actually, yeah, counseling is also a good idea. Meron tayong family counselors. Basically, ang first step kasi dito when you go to court, the court would tell you that these are requirements. So, meron tayong exhaustion and administrative remedies. Ngayon, pag mag-file ka ng kaso with regards to support in custody, tatanungin ng court na, have you exhausted these remedies? Pag hindi, i-refer nila kayo. For example, counseling. Meron tayong DSWD and social welfare center where they can go to. Tapos may mga readily available counselors and family counselors to discuss about this. Ngayon, pag wala na talaga, nag-file tayo ng kaso, then that's the time that the family mediation unit or the family mediation representative will be taken into consideration. So, kumbaga, may ladders or may steps towards the court itself. Bago kayo magkaso, yun yung kailangan yung counseling, mediation, and whatnot. Syempre may barangay pa tayo, barangay conciliation and everything, which is also requisite bago ka mag-file ng action.
Yun, with that ma'am, attorney, thank you very much po with your answers ma'am. And ibabalik ko na po kay Bombokier itong mga pagtatanong.
Okay, balik sa
Thank
akin,
you, Ken.
Attorney Ann. So ito, Attorney Ann, mga ilang katanungan na lang po. Ito, Attorney, bigyan ko lang ng isa pang yung isa pa nating mga situational na mga katanungan. Kasi, alimbawa, Attorney, yung paano kapag ganito yung situation, si tatay nakulong dahil sa illegal na droga, mga ganon. Pag ganon, Attorney, automatic ba tanggal na yung parental authority niya sa bata? Attorney Ann?
Ayun. Hindi siya automatic. It must be proven. Kasi let us remember na ang parental authority is both with the parents, pagkasal, mother and father. Ngayon, wala namang, let us remember kasi ang criminal cases, basically ang ruling yan, it involves pagkakakulong, civil liability, you have to pay something or you have to render yung imprisonment. Pero if you will read the decision, it doesn't necessarily involve removal ng parental authority. So it is a totally different animal. And basically, if someone wants the father to be removed out of the picture, then they have to file a court case for that. So removal ng parental authority, it must be proven in court. And itong, kasi pwede naman sabihin na the father has already reformed. Ngayon, kailangan patunayan na itong pagkakakonvict niya sa criminal case is detrimental to the best interest of the child. So, not automatic, it still must be proven.
Opo. Tapos ito pa, Attorney, paano kung halimbawa yung yung isang nanay or parent, pinaampon niya yung kanyang anak? May parental authority pa ba siya doon, Attorney?
Okay. We have to categorize anong klaseng adoption. Because let us remember that legal adoption terminates the relationship between the child, the biological child, and the biological parent. So, hindi lang rights and responsibilities. Also, your capacity in case in the future, yumaman yung bata, tapos mamanahin. Wala ka nang mamanahin pag legally adopted na yung child. Kasi na-diminish na, nawala na talaga yung parental authority as well as relationship with the child. However, pero pag kunyari, hindi naman dumaan sa legal process, kunyari, iniwan mo lang sa relative mo or nag-abroad ka, iniwan mo sa mother mo, it doesn't necessarily extinguish your authority over the child. Pero, syempre, pagbalik mo, you have the obligation to pay kung ano man yung nagastos sa bata kasi basically, a child cannot enter into contract. Pero exceptions nun is yung mga kinain niya, syempre for their well-being, yun. So, you have to pay. But it only applies in case the adoption is technically not legal.
Opo, at isa pa pala yan, attorney, butit na-mention nyo po. Kasi kung halimbawa OFW si tatay, ang nagpalaki ngayon ng anak niya si lola niya. Pagbalik ni tatay, pwede niya bang kunin na lang basta-basta yung anak, attorney?
Well, yung fact na pinagkatiwala mo yung bata is dun sa nanay, it means that you believe that the grandmother or the grandparent is capable of taking care of the child. Ngayon, pagbalik mo, you still have parental authority and you still have the right and responsibility to take care of the child. Pero like what I said, as a general rule kasi, a child below 70 or below 18 cannot enter into contract. Pero yung mga na-consume niya, you still have to pay. So, yes, you still can get your child, wala namang issue doon, but you are responsible to pay for their living expenses. Parang i-reimburse mo yung mga nagastos ng grandmother towards rearing the child because it's your obligation, it's your responsibility as a parent. So, yun lang naman. They cannot prevent you from legally taking the child.
Opo. Tapos ito, attorney, pag halimbawa matanda na yung anak, nasa tamang gulang na, may parental authority pa ba doon si parent or si nanay, attorney?
Well, basically, yun nga eh. Kasi ang parental authority ay basically ina-apply lang sa minors. Kasi let us admit na hindi naman talaga capable minors of making decisions for themselves. And they cannot be held liable kasi nga, di ba? Hindi naman magiging criminally liable ang minors sa Philippines unless they did it with na alam nila yung ginagawa nila. So ngayon, ang case naman sa atin is if the child is already 18, then parental authority ceases. Hindi na siya authority. Magiging guidance na lang siya. Kaya if you'd know, magpapakasal ka na over 18 ka na but less than 21, you still have to get yung consent, di ba? Parental consent. So basically, you can still get married, pero you have to have consent. And it's not absolute. May mga exceptions. So, ayun, hindi siya necessarily required. But yun lang, guidance na lang ang binibigay ng parents over 18.
Yun, okay yun. Mabubutit na mention nyo yan, attorney. Na laman namin. Anyway, eto attorney, kung halimbawa naman patay or patay na yung parehong magulang, patay na rin yung lolo-lola nung bata, kanino na siya mapupunta, attorney? Or kanino na mapupunta yung custody niya?
In the absence of both parents and grandparents, pwede yung other relatives next in line. So, pwedeng, kasi ito muna yung parents, brothers and sisters, grandparents. Pag wala yung lahat na yun sa una ng line, then you can go to tito, tita, pinsan. So, as long as it is within their family. Tapos pag wala na talaga, then that's the time na pwede nang legally pa-adopt yung child. Pero considering it must still be in the best interest of the child. Ngayon, it must still go through with the legal processes of adopting. Kailangan patunayan ng potential adopter na to na siya ay may capacity to take care of the child and at the same time, the child wants. Kasi best interest of the child lagi ito eh. Kasi alangan naman po samahin mo sa random stranger na hindi naman gusto ng bata. So you have to consider that as well.
Okay po. So ito attorney, bago tayo magtapos sa ating interview, siguro attorney kung meron po kayong, pangmalupitang legal advice sa atin pong mga audience ngayon regarding dito sa atin pong pinag-usapan para nang sa gayon wag magkaroon ng mga kung anong, samot-saring mga kaguluhan regarding dito. Ano po yung inyong maiiwan na mensahe sa atin pong mga viewers ngayon, Attorney Ann?
Okay. So the family code provides na yung parental authority. It's an aggregate rights and duties. Hindi lang siya karapatan, may obligasyon din siya. Itong mga parents na to or lawful guardians na nag-exercise over the person of minors or unemancipated children. Ibig sabihin, wala pa silang liberty to decide on their own. Ngayon, it includes the right to care for, educate, and discipline the children and also to provide physical, financial, moral, and emotional support. Ngayon, pwedeng sabihin na basic lang naman to eh. It doesn't necessarily pertain to anything. Nagkakaroon ng liability ang parents in criminal cases pag may nakomit ang bata. So ngayon, sasabihin mo na hindi importante yung parental authority. It matters. Kasi you are responsible of rearing the child and at the end of the day, you will be criminally responsible pag ang bata na ito ay may nag-commit ng crime against the law. So as a parent, you have the rights but also you have the responsibility and also you have to make sure that everything you do is with the best interest of the child. So hindi lang to puro karapatan, meron din tong kaakibat na responsibilidad that we must exercise with due care. Yun lang po.